Alright, so this is the last problem we will be doing today on the medians of a triangle. So let's give it our best shot. Problem 7.21. In triangle JKL, JK is equivalent to JL, which is equal to 10, and KL equals 16. It wants us to find the length of the median JM and find the length of the median KN. Alright, so we should first start marking all the stuff in the problem it gives us. Well, we know that JK, so JK, JL are the same, and they're both equivalent to 10. Hopefully it triggers something right off the bat, but let's also mark that KL is 16. Now, what you should be thinking is that you have an isosceles triangle. And isosceles triangle means that whatever line from the vertex at the top to the base is going to split KL in half. So 16 in half is 8 and 8. Well, that shouldn't be too hard to find JM then, since you can assume that also this is a right angle. And this is all stuff we proved when we did isosceles triangles. I believe that's when we did side angle side congruence and all that. But anyway, so we have all that going for us. Now, JM is one of the legs, and I mean, you can use the Pythagorean theorem, or you can realize that 10 is 5 times 2. 8 is 4 times 2. That means JM, since it's a 5, 4, 3, or 3, 4, 5 triangle, has to be 3 times 2, which is 6. You can use the Pythagorean theorem to confirm that. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I assume you know how to use Pythagorean theorem at that point, and I'd rather just do it the easy way. Alright, so JM is 6. Now I need to find out what KN is equal to. Well, I know the whole thing is 6, and I also know, or the whole JM is 6. But what I also know is that if I'm going to call this my centroid G, I know that we have this entire thing split up. So JG over GM forms a 2-to-1 ratio. Now, why am I so interested in this? Well, if I can find out what GM is, I can easily figure out what KG is by using Pythagorean theorem. So I need to find out what GM is. Now, unfortunately, I do not know what JG is, but I do know what JM is. So, if JG over GM is a 2-to-1 ratio, the entire thing would have a 3 to whatever ratio. So if I was comparing it with JG, it would be a 3-to-2 ratio, but since I'm comparing it with JM with GM, it's going to become a 3-to-1 ratio. That's like how we did it in the last problem. Now I'll just, explain it one more time, because some of us don't have the kind of experience with ratios that I would really prefer us to have, and no fault of your own, but so I'll explain the whole logic very quickly. So pretend that this is, I mean, no, I don't have to pretend, I can just say that this is that median, GJM, just like that. And now I know that the entire thing, JM, has a length of 6. Now, I know that there is a 2-to-1 ratio where, like, this is my 2x and this is my 1x. The reason you put x is because since you're not exactly sure what J, G, and GM are. In the previous problem I put 2 and 1, but you should really put 2x and 1x since the measures of JG aren't 2 and GM isn't going to be 1. But the idea is JG's quantity is twice as much as GM's quantity. However, if I were to look at this as the entirety of JM, if I just do some simple arithmetic, 2 and 1, that would be a 3x. So JM would be 3x, GM is my 1x, creating, and if you wanted to, you could put 3x over 1x, but the x's just cancel out anyway. That's why I just put the 3-to-1 without the x's when I make the fraction. So that is why I'm getting the 3-to-1 ratio. And it's also important to know that, well, we know the bigger side of the median is a 2-to-1 ratio with the smaller side. The whole median makes a 3-to-1 ratio with the smaller side and a 3-to-2 ratio with the bigger side. So what can I do from here? Well, I know what JM is. I know that JM is 6. So 6 over GM. Well, that kind of looks like a 6 too. GM equals, well, 3 over 1 is just 3. And if I do some multiplication, we get that 6 is equal to 3 times GM, which means that GM is equal to 2. So GM is 2. Now I can use... Now, what is all this for? Because we already found JM. Why am I still working with it? Well, I have to find KN. And part of KN is KG. And using the ratios that I was just describing, once I find out what KG is, I can find the entirety of KN. So, let's find out what KG is. Now, I'm going to erase some of the stuff because I wrote real big and didn't really think about it too much. So let's just get rid of some of this stuff because we don't need it anymore. And hopefully we understand how we got all that math. Okay. And let's get rid of this. Alright. So now we have established that GM is 2. So KG squared is going to be equal to 2 squared plus 8 squared. Because we have that right triangle KGM, where KG is the hypotenuse. 2 squared is 4, plus 64 is equal to KG squared. That's equal to 70. No, what am I doing? Not 70. 68. So KG is equal to the square root of 68. Now we can simplify that a bit further by doing, well, I know that 4 times 15 is 60, so 4 times 17. No, what am I doing? Oh yeah, 4 times 17 is 40. And no, what am I thinking? This is when you just should use a calculator, but if I divide by 2, whatever. I'm having a brain fart. So 2 times 34, which is 2 times 17. And okay, so we would get square root of 4 times 17. So kg is equal to 2 root 17. And I had just established earlier that the whole median, the entire median, creates a 3-to-1 ratio with the smaller section of the median cut off by the centroid. And since kg is the larger section of the centroid, or the median, I should say, then that means if I did a ratio of kn over kg, that would become a 3-to-2 ratio. Now just plug in our values. Kn over 2 square root of 17 equals 3 over 2. If I multiply the square root of 17 on both sides, what do we, or not, 2 times the square root of 17 on both sides, we get that Kn is equal to, well, if I multiply it over 2 cancels out, so we just have 3 root 17. And that is our answer. So, a little bit of mathematical work, but nothing we haven't done before. Just keep track of everything and use the tools and facts you have available. Use all the theorems we discovered. And these problems, if you break it down step by step, simple parts, they shouldn't be so bad.